The Film Basement is filmed in sunny West Hartford, Connecticut, in front of a live studio
Welcome
audience.
to a very dry episode of The Filmmaker's Basement. I'm Brandon.
Andrew.
And we're going to be talking about some of the movies we saw in the last week or so and playing a little game show later on. And the movie I saw this week was a movie I'd actually been hoping I got to see a little bit. It was called See How They Run. So, in 1950s London, plans for a movie version of a smash hit play come to an abrupt halt after a pivotal member of the crew is murdered. When a world-wearied inspector and eager rookie constable take on the case, they find themselves thrown into a puzzling whodunit within the glamorously sordid world of underground theater, investigating the mysterious homicide at their own peril. And I want to start this off by saying, while this sounds like a classic whodunit, and to a degree it really is, this movie is basically a very dry comedy. Like, extremely dry. Which usually doesn't do it for me. I'm not usually a dry comedy person, but I could see why people would find this movie very funny, and there were definitely moments that really get to me. Specifically, one of the things that I liked the most about it was how the opening sets up kind of the entire movie. So the opening is done actually from the narrative perspective of the man who was killed in the beginning. The director, I believe his name is Leo Kopernik. So essentially we get this little spiel from him. He's like stereotypical douchebag Hollywood director. Like, he's coming in, he's hitting on people's wives, like getting really drunk, getting into bar fights. And through this time, he's giving kind of a narration about whodunits. And like it's like very classic, like here's how whodunits go down every single time without a doubt. You bring all your characters into one location, they're trapped there, they can't go anywhere, somebody starts murdering people, there's mystery, there's intrigue, until eventually you get to an end where, you eventually find out the person who did it. And while he's doing all this, he's also talking about how they generally start. And they usually start with the most unlikable character being killed, his words, not mine. And as you're watching it, you're thinking, okay, where's this going? Until eventually he kind of goes into this prop closet towards the back and is killed in the back. Kind of like fulfilling his own prophecy that he set forth. And this actually kind of comes up throughout the movie, and is one of the points in the movie I really liked, is that Kopernik will occasionally appear in flashbacks with, like, we're going to see, like, his interaction with somebody and how that could have led to this person being a potential murderer. And he kind of lays out where the movie is going, very subtly. It's something I didn't quite notice that was happening until I was like halfway through the movie. But like whatever he mentions will kind of come true, almost like prophetically. And so that was a nice little touch I actually liked. I felt almost tongue-in-cheek at parts too, because it's like, it's telling you exactly what's going to happen, but that doesn't kind of take away from the fun of the whodunit and the comedy that kind of comes with it. So I thought the opening was very well handled. I like it a lot. We also, of course, does the stereotypical thing of laying out all our potential suspects in one place at one time, and we get the introduction of our constable character and our inspector character, who I'll get to in a little bit. So, second thing I didn't really like, but I can see why people would like it, was the dry comedy aspect. And I will give it credit. It is very on point. I can see why someone would find a lot of it very funny. It just, wasn't for me. That being said, there were a couple of sections I really did like, specifically in the opening scene. So, our Kopernik's in the back with the killer. Killer tries to essentially, like, kill him with some wire. Kopernik finds a wire cutter on the ground, cuts it, killer falls back, and so you get this moment where you're like, oh my god, Kopernik's going to get away, this is going to be the end of the movie. And so, as part of that getaway, he looks over to his left, he sees this door that says exit, runs right toward it, opens the door, there's a brick wall behind it because it's a prop door because he's in a theater company. And you get that kind of moment where it just pauses and you're just like, oh, of course this isn't the actual exit. That would be stupid. There'd be no movie here. So I like that. I can see how that would be funny because it seems very funny. Another scene that I really liked later on in the movie, our detective cop duo are essentially interviewing an usher who says he saw somebody in the theater who looked like he had just committed this murder. He matched kind of what they were looking for. And so they talk to this usher, and the usher is being really dodgy this whole time. And he's not really giving a lot of straight answers, like he's being a really bad witness. And so eventually the detective's like, can you just tell me what the person looked like? And slowly but surely, the usher starts describing the detective in front of him. And you're just like, okay, he's just wasting our time here. This dude knows nothing, and he's trying to like put himself in the middle of this case for some reason. Also, just in the premise of itself is kind of like a dry comedy. We have a murder mystery going on for a play that is essentially about a murder mystery. So conceptually, kind of a funny concept. I really like the energy between our cop duo investigators and how they kind of played their archetypes to the max. So we have Inspector Stoppard, who is the classic old gruff detective, but like turned up to a 20 to the point where at one point he's in a car with the constable, I believe his name Constable Stalker, funnily enough. And he just tells her, hey, I'm going to go. I have a dentist appointment right now. Can I just go off and take care of that? You can just watch this, stand the stakeout. And she's like, yeah, sure, no problem. She's incredibly gullible. And he goes off to a bar and gets drunk almost instantaneously, like without nothing stopping him, nothing at all. So very much so like I'm just done with this. I'm just here to do my job. Whereas Constable Stalker is, of course, the opposite. She's very young, very gullible. She knows nothing about being a detective. And she's trying to pick it up literally all from him. To the point where every time she goes into an encounter, because she knows nothing, she literally writes everything he says down on a piece of paper, which actually comes up as a plot point later on, which I really liked. Additionally, she is incredibly awkward in every scene she is in. And it's played up so much to the point where you can even see it in how she walks. Like, she walks like something is weighing her down the whole time. Like, very stiff, very awkward, just like almost waddling around. So I like that attention to detail. I thought that was a very nice addition to the movie. Additionally, one character I will kind of spot out because he comes up a lot is the director, Leo Kopernik. He's the narrator from the beginning. He kind of has some like flashback scenes later on. I just liked how they played him up as the douchebag character. It's very funny to watch him on screen being a douchebag, like hitting on people's wives. It gives you a very unlikable character that can just like, he can do anything and you kind of believe it. Like, I'll get into more later on. But yeah, it's very funny. I love that character a lot. In classic fashion, it is a stereotypical whodunit. In whodunit fashion, the ending is the twist. And I will give it credit. I don't think I ever would have seen that coming. So I will say that. It was very by the books, like, okay, I didn't see that happening. I didn't really have a lot that I didn't like about the movie. I thought it was very well done. That being said, like I said, it's a dry comedy. So if you were not into that, it will get boring. And I will admit there were quite a few parts, even though this movie I think was only like 100 minutes long, it felt like it was dragging on a bit. Where it's like, come on, let's just move it along here. I get you're trying to eat up the scene and be funny, but this is taking a little bit here too. Additionally, like, if you're not really a whodunit fan either, like, this movie probably doesn't have a lot for you there too, because that is kind of baked into the premise of the movie. But besides that, I mean, it's, even if you don't, even though I didn't like the dry comedy as much, there still were some funny scenes that I enjoyed, and I thought the mystery was interesting. So I'll give it credit there. I think if you can look past that it's a murder mystery and, like I said, it's dry comedy, give it a watch. I think it's worthwhile.
Nice. Speaking of twists, I guess, I went and saw a movie that had a twist at the end, which I could kind of foresee, but I didn't foresee exactly how it was going to turn out. The movie is Don't Worry, Darling. It is about a 1950s housewife living with her husband in a utopian experimental community, and she begins to worry that his glamorous company could be hiding disturbing secrets. This movie's great. Like, I know that I've always I've said on this platform many times that I'm a very big fan of like disaster movies. And like B-movie disaster movies at that. I'm an even bigger fan of movies that keep you on the edge of your seat and keep you thinking and give you a twist at the end. I went into this movie expecting something to be wrong with the movie. Because you see the trailers, you see everything, and you know, Florence Pugh kind of devolves into this like psychosis and it goes a little crazy in the trailers, and you see kind of that thing going on, and or that psychological factor. And so you're just like, oh, something's different about this place. And you get to the end and you're like, I knew that it was something, and I knew that Chris Pine's character, who was the leader of this community, was behind something. I just didn't know what. And then you get to the end and you're like, oh, that's way worse than what I thought was going on. Like, so it was kind of along in the same lines of what I thought maybe might have been going on, but it was way worse. And so this movie opens with Florence Pugh and Harry Styles' character. They're a married couple, and they're in this very 50s-esque community cul-de-sac. And they wake up in the morning and they have breakfast together, and then all of the men in the community work for a company called Victory, who's led by Chris Pine's character, Frank. And every morning they leave for work, and they all leave at the same time. And it's not monotone. I can't think of it's very symmetrical on how like everyone, how the day goes. Like the day is consistent, like, and it's the same repetitiveness and the same symmetry. So like they all pull out of their driveways in their cars at the same time. And then they all drive off together, like to this mountain. And it's this secret, it's like this secret company that they work for. And they start having these like earthquakes, and it's something they think that, oh, they're drilling into this mountain. And none of the women know like what they do. They're not allowed to talk to anybody about what they do, like for work. And it kind of gets you thinking. You're just like, well, something's going on, like with this company. I just peaked really loud, so you might want to watch that there. My bad.
I'll see it later, hopefully.
So it was just this bizarre thing where everyone does the same routine every day. They all have like little parties at night, like with each other. Like the one woman is like pregnant and she's like drinking and smoking with everyone else. It's the 50s.
Yeah,
like,
very 50s.
Whatever, very 50s.
Huh.
And so, and it's one of these movies where I was going in and I was expecting to sit through a 1 hour slugfest of, the movie's 2 hours long, and I was expecting the first hour to just be exposition and everything. I didn't expect anything to happen within the first hour, which is why I thought this movie was getting bad reviews. But as soon as the first like 20-25 minutes hits, it kicks off immediately. And you're like, oh, we're going into it now. Okay. And within the first 25-30 minutes, Alice, who's Florence Pugh, the main character, she sees a plane crash in the mountains where they live. And the only rule to this society is do not leave the community. That's their one rule for the society. And so this plane crashes, and she leaves and goes to try to, like, she's on a trolley, and the trolley driver's like, I'm not allowed to go out there. Like, this is not my route. And she's like, someone's got to go see if they can help. And she just wanders off into the desert, like past outside this community. And she gets to this like really weird building, and everything just goes red. And then throughout the rest of the movie, she starts having these flashes of ballet dancers and like creepy clown ballet dancers. It's very strange.
Interesting.
And she starts hearing voices, and just she has these eggs and she's making dinner and she starts cracking them in her hands and nothing's coming out of them. So she's like, what is going on? I don't know what's happening. And she starts developing this psychosis, which had already been introduced like 10 minutes prior to her having it, because one of the other women ventured out beyond into the desert. Mm-hmm. And she started having, like, she's like, we're not supposed to be here. Something's happening. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, we're not supposed to be here and all this. And then this character kills herself, like, in front of Alice. Mm-hmm. And all of the men are, like, oblivious or, like, covering, like, you can tell that they're covering it up kind of thing. And just like, no, she's fine. Alice watches her slit her throat and fall off of her house. And all the men are just like, oh, she slipped while she was cleaning and fell on some glass. Mm-hmm. And she's fine now. And she's like, no, that's not what happened. And none of the women believe her. And all the men are just like kind of blowing her off like she's going crazy. Mm-hmm. And then she starts to develop this psychosis and everything else. And you get to the end of the movie and you figure out what's going on. And you're like, oh, this is so much worse than what I was expecting to happen.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments where you're in the theater. When I was in the theater and I'm watching it, and you know it's long to get there, yeah. Obviously. So like I kind of got bored a little bit of the way through, but there would be elements, like it was kind of like a roller coaster. Like there would be elements that would keep me intrigued of like what's actually going on, and then you get to the end. And it's one of those moments where like my jaw's on the ground. Like I was like, oh shit. Oh my God, that's what's happening. And then, you know, yeah. And it's, I can't really get into much detail without spoiling the movie. And it's only been out for a little while, and I'm sure people want to go see it if they haven't seen it yet, but it's good. Like it's a good movie. And it's gotten a lot of like bad press because of everything that went on with Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles. This is that movie.
Was that movie. Okay, because I was wondering, because I saw the reviews for it, and I was like, those are incredible. Just like a skim. I didn't really look any deeper into that when you said you were watching this. And I saw how low they were, and I was like, oh boy, this is not going to be a good one.
No, but, so
okay.
Apparently it's been, you know, getting some bad press, which is kind of surprising because I enjoyed it. And I don't know, maybe it's because I like that kind of movie where it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat and gives you a good twist at the end. But yeah, so here's what I'll say. The critics hated it because I just looked it up on IMDb. It's got a 39% tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes. However, the audience score is 75%. So the audience likes it. People like it. So if you are,
if you like a people pleaser,
if you like a people pleaser movie who's not probably going to win it many awards, you'll like this movie. And there was a lot of like, I knew about it just because of all this press with this movie with Harry Styles and Chris Pine. When I don't know if you saw at one of the premieres or something, it looked like Harry Styles spit on Chris Pine.
Yeah.
And then Florence Pugh didn't even go to that premiere. Like she avoided it because she was, you know, she had a falling out with Olivia Wilde or something. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. Most of the top critics were rotten. So, but there's some sprinkled in there that were like, nope. This movie is like, it's okay. It's good. Like, So
I mean, as always, take it with a grain of salt. You never know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's it's a movie. It's a thriller. It's a psychological thriller. I always like a psychological thriller. The Prestige is like one of my all-time favorite movies, with the Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale, The Magicians.
Yes.
So like it's got a good twist at the end, that you don't really see coming, but it kind of just hints through it throughout the whole movie. This didn't really hint to anything. Like you get to that twist at the end and you're like, oh no. So I would go see it. Like when Brandon and I were talking about what we saw this week, I was just like, you should see it like tomorrow. Like, because I really enjoyed this movie. So yeah, don't let the critics
don't let them scare you off, because sometimes the movie is better than you give it credit for. Okay, well, speaking of potential TV shows that got not so much critical acclaim, we have everyone's favorite game show, Pilot Wings. So, Andrew's played this game a million times, but for those who haven't, Pilot Games is a game show where I pitch Andrew 3 TV show log lines. 2 of them are real shows that were pitched to real networks, and one of them is something that I made up. And it's up to Andrew to suss out which is the fake one. And this week, I didn't remember to white them out. So, no, we're not having that problem again.
Oh, I didn't open it this time.
Excellent. Okay. Good. So, trying to prevent all of that from happening. So, number 1. It's the end of the world, the cult has succeeded, and their dark god has been awakened. Almost everything has gone as cult leader-to-be Damon Williams had imagined. With one slight caveat. His dark god doesn't remember a single thing besides its name, Daryl. Now, with a suspicious cult base and doomsday quickly approaching, Damon has to teach his dark lord about its role in the world it's supposed to remake. 2. Marty Schumacher coached his last soccer club for 10 years, ultimately taking them to the national championships. He now has to start from scratch with a diverse group of 8-year-olds and their disparate parents. And 3. A period drama that picks up where Romeo and Juliet left off, charting the treachery, palace intrigue, and ill-fated romances of the Montagues and Capulets in the wake of the young lovers' tragic fate, based on the book by Melinda Todd. All right, Andrew, so out of those 3, which one is the fake one?
So the third one sounds like something I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sounds like it's something that has been made before.
Mm-hmm.
So if you did end up making that one up, kudos, because it sounds
believable,
but fully believable. Like a show about the aftermath of Romeo and Juliet. Someone would absolutely make that TV show. I'm only going with the second one. I'm only gonna say that's not Marty Schumacher. That name sounds so familiar, like Marty Schumacher, and I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
But Justin Long is throwing me off in that one. Because like you would obviously, like, if you just threw that name in there, like if you made that one up, then kudos, because that's really giving me grief. Because I don't see Justin Long as a coach of a soccer team for 10 years. He sounds like he looks way too young to portray, like, what would that be, like a 50-year-old kind of thing. And that first one, that first one is just it's just word vomit. Like that description. So like that one's really throwing, like all 3 of them are like really throwing me off. But I'm gonna go with the first one, just because I feel like if you did just throw in a random actor behind Marty Schumacher, Like if it's, I feel like that the actual descriptions do that sometimes. So that could be a real one. And the last one just sounds real. So the first one. I'm going to go with the first one.
Okay. Yep, first one was the fake one. I've gotten so bad at these, I swear. I cannot get a good one. I cannot make up a good one anymore. All right, so the second one with the Justin Long theme is called Dream Team, never got made. And the Romeo and Juliet one did get made. It's called Still Star-Crossed, but it only got a single season. I think that season was 7 episodes at most.
Where do I know that name from? That
Ray
name
Schumacher.
just sounds so
I have no idea.
familiar.
I've never heard that name in my life. Sounds like nothing to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta up my game. I gotta make them shorter.
You should try to get Jimmy to help you out.
Yeah, no kidding. Maybe I'm just running dry on ideas at this point. But that was Pilot Wings as always. Hopefully, again, in the following weeks, I will be able to come up with something better. But in the meantime, let's talk about some of the upcoming movies that we've got. Since it's been a while since we did the last one, so we've got some potential new options here. And I don't know much about what's coming up, honestly.
There's a movie
Because we do have a lot. There is a lot releasing.
Yeah, we're getting an October time frame. It's good. It's really good for movies right now. But there's they finally changed. They changed IMDb back.
Did they?
Yeah.
Mine?
So I clicked.
Oh, mine's not changed. You'll have to send me a link for that.
I just clicked on the release calendar and it gives me dates and like it gives me the movie title with the poster next to it.
Huh. Mine is not doing that, so that's strange.
Yeah, I'll post it.
Yeah, let me see that so that way I can get a hold of it. Because I would sure as heck like to look at that one again because the other one is not doing it.
So there's a movie coming out this week that has me interested. I just don't know. I don't know. Like the cast in it looks awesome. I just it feels like, what was that movie that had the really big cast that had like Robert De Niro, Bradley Cooper, Amy Adams.
The murder mystery movie?
No. It felt a lot like this type of movie.
I have no idea. What's the movie?
This movie's called Amsterdam.
Oh, this was the other movie that's had a bunch of bad press about it.
Yeah, it looks like I just looked at like I just looked at the review, or not the reviews for this, but the rating, and it's got like a 5.7.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
I'm trying to remember what was the issues with this one. I think it was something to do with one of the people that was in it, like kept chasing someone off. It was a whole thing.
I was thinking of American Hustle. Is the movie that I was thinking. It's got like Christian Bale and like all these like big stars in it, and it looks like a drama comedy kind of thing. That's what this movie looks a lot like. It's got like Christian Bale, Chris Rock, Margot Robbie. Who else is in here? Let's see. Anya Taylor-Joy, Mike Myers, Michael Shannon, Taylor Swift, Timothy Olyphant, Zoe Saldana, Rami Malek, Robert De Niro. Like, it's got this huge cast, and I have no idea what it's about. Yeah. It just says the 1930s three friends witness a murder, are framed for it, and uncover one of the most outrageous plots in American history. I have no idea. Yeah, but it's got 5.7.
I'm trying to remember because I saw a bunch of buzz about this, but it was negative. I think it had something to do with Shia LaBeouf essentially being like kind of
that was Don't Worry, Darling.
That was Don't Worry, Darling. Okay, I thought it was this movie.
Shia LaBeouf was cast in Harry Styles' role on Don't Worry, Darling, and got kicked off set within like a month.
Okay, I thought that was this one. I was so confused for a second. Yeah, this one looks. I've seen a couple trailers for it in the theaters, and I don't know. It just looks strange. Not really sure what to make of it. I'm trying to think what else. I'm not personally interested in a bunch that's coming out right now. Like I'm really trying to think of something I might want to see in the upcoming weeks, but there's not a ton. I don't know about you. Are you seeing anything else that you're really interested in?
Not until the end of October. You know, Black Adam comes out the end of October. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
The
I mean,
Rock.
you don't want to see Halloween Ends.
No,
and the
that's going to
finale.
be horrible.
Oh, I know it's going to be
That's gonna
horrible.
be horrible. I
Halloween
don't care
Kills
about
was
that.
awful.
I haven't watched a single one of those movies. I don't care about those at all. Yeah, that's not my kind of movie. Oh, there is The Whale.
When does that come out?
Brendan Fraser. Apparently it's coming out, I think it's...
the 13th.
The 13th, yeah. That I might be interested in seeing. Because everyone keeps saying it's great.
Yep.
Turns out Brendan Fraser kind of on point.
It got a huge standing ovation at its theatrical
its initial
release,
yeah.
I don't remember. I'm tired.
At the festival played at it got
yeah.
standing ovation, all that. So plus Brendan Fraser, who hasn't been in a bunch of stuff and is a fantastic actor, apparently, and just a wonderful person in general. So I'm definitely interested in that.
There's that. I don't know. Do you like horror movies? I feel like we've talked about this.
I like horror movies. I just don't like just horror crap.
There's a trailer that I've seen a bunch of times for a movie called
Smile.
Pray for the Devil.
Pray for the Devil.
It's coming out at the end of the month. It's about a woman exorcist.
That's not my thing. I already know I'm looking at the poster and I already know that's not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I'm gonna see like a horror movie, it's got to be like Nope or something similar. Like
there is a horror comedy movie coming out at the beginning of November called Housewife Alien versus Gay Zombie.
See, I don't want to see that one because it's a horror movie. I want to see that one because it sounds really dumb, and I'm really about that. I'm really about watching a really dumb movie, and I haven't seen like it reminds me of that what's it called movie that came out last year. I think it was what's his name? He was in that movie about himself. What is his name? I cannot remember. The Prisoner of Ghostland movie with Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it could be stupid, so I'm about it.
I just realized there is a movie coming out that I saw a lot of press for because it was filmed in Boston. It's coming out on Apple TV called Spirited. It has Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell in it. What's it about? It's a take on Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh,
I mean, it comes out in November, so I'd be like, I might watch it. I have Disney or Apple.
Could be interesting. Also, an interesting time to release a kind of Christmassy movie.
I mean, it's getting to that time.
Yeah, I don't know. November feels early to me still, but maybe that's just me. But yeah, hopefully we'll find something good to see in the coming weeks. Give it a go to check out.
Hopefully.
But yeah, I think that's all I've got for this episode. Andrew, do you have anything you want to plug?
Nope.
I don't have anything I want to plug either. So yeah, this has been the Filmmaker's Basement. I'm Brandon.
I'm Andrew.
And it's been a pleasure talking with you all. See y'all next week.